In the relentless buzz of our modern world, solitude feels like a forgotten art. We're rarely alone. Our minds are assaulted daily by a barrage of information, endless notifications, and the clamor of distractions vying for our attention. But what if, stepping away from it all, embracing true aloneness, could be the secret to unlocking a life of purpose and transformation? Miyamoto Musashi, Japan's most legendary samurai, believed exactly that. This iconic warrior chose a life steeped in solitude, not to escape, but to refine his craft, sharpen his mind, and forge a philosophy that echoes through the centuries. In his final work, Dokudo, translated as The Path of Walking Alone, Musashi distilled his wisdom into 21 powerful precepts, a guide to living boldly and authentically through the strength found in solitude. Today we're diving deep into Musashi's world. We'll explore who he was, unpack his philosophy of solitude, and discover how his ancient insights can reshape our lives in this hyper-connected age. So, grab a seat and let's journey into the mind of a master, because being alone might just change everything. First, let's meet the man behind the legend. Miyamoto Musashi wasn't your average warrior. Born in 1584, he emerged into a Japan fractured by civil wars. Feudal lords clashing, villages burning, and chaos reigning supreme. As a ronin, a wandering samurai without a master, Musashi carved his own path through this turbulent era. His skill with a blade was unmatched. He's said to have fought and won over 60 duels, many ending in the death of his opponents. Picture this. At just 13, he faced his first duel, taking down a seasoned warrior with nothing but raw grit and a wooden sword. That's the kind of fire he carried. But Musashi was far more than a killing machine. He was a painter, a calligrapher, a poet, and above all, a thinker. His life wasn't just a trail of violence. It was a quest for mastery over himself. He didn't chase glory or riches. Instead, he sought something deeper, a profound understanding of life, honed through discipline, dedication, and, most strikingly, solitude. While other samurai pledged loyalty to lords or reveled in camaraderie, Musashi often walked alone, both literally and figuratively, retreating to caves, forests, and mountaintops to train, reflect, and wrestle with his own soul. This solitude wasn't about shunning the world, it was a deliberate choice, a mental sanctuary where the noise of battle, politics, and society faded away. In that stillness, he sharpened not just his sword but his spirit, and in his final days, as he faced mortality in a cave in 1645, he penned Dokudo, a parting gift to humanity. Through its 21 precepts, he offers us a blueprint for living with courage, clarity, and authenticity. So what did solitude mean to Musashi, and how can it transform us? Let's dig in. At the heart of Musashi's philosophy lies a radical idea. Solitude isn't isolation, it's liberation. For him, being alone wasn't about locking himself away like a monk in a temple. It was about creating space, mental and physical, to focus without distraction. Imagine the life of a samurai, the clash of steel, the weight of honor, the constant threat of death. Amid that chaos, Musashi found peace by stepping back, silencing the external racket and turning inward. In solitude, he could polish his skills, dissect his mistakes, and confront his fears without the chatter of others clouding his judgment. He wrote, "Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. This isn't about self-doubt, it's about humility." Musashi urged us to shed our egos, to stop obsessing over our own importance, and instead, soak in the lessons the world offers. Picture him alone under a starry sky, sword in hand, pondering not just his next duel, but the rhythms of nature, the flow of time, the essence of existence. That balance, humble self-awareness paired with a hunger to understand, became his foundation for growth. Solitude gave him the clarity to see himself as he truly was, strengths and flaws alike, free from the praise or criticism of others. In our world, where we're bombarded by opinions, social media likes, trending debates, endless news cycles, Musashi's call to solitude feels like a lifeline. It's a chance to hit pause, to strip away the noise, and to ask, who am I, really? But how do we take this centuries-old wisdom and make it work today? Let's explore some practical ways to walk our own path of solitude, guided by Musashi's timeless insights. Musashi's Dokudo, written in his final week of life, is a short but mighty work, a distillation of everything he'd learned. It's not a sprawling epic, it's a concise list of 21 principles, each a spark of wisdom meant to light our way. Let's unpack a few and see how they resonate. First, he tells us, do not seek pleasure for its own sake. This hits hard in an age of instant gratification, scrolling for dopamine hits, chasing likes or splurging on fleeting thrill. Musashi's point? Real fulfillment doesn't come from outside validation or temporary highs. It grows from within, from the quiet pride of a job well done, from progress forged through effort. Then there's this gem. Do not, under any circumstances, depend on a partial feeling. Ever made a snap decision in the heat of anger or excitement, only to regret it later? Musashi's been there. He's telling us to slow down, to weigh our choices with a clear head, not let passing emotions jerk us around. It's about acting with purpose, not impulse, a lesson he likely learned dodging blades and outsmarting foes. He also advises, do not hold on to possessions you no longer need. This isn't just about clearing out your closet, though that's a start. It's about releasing baggage, old grudges, stale routines, relationships that drain you. Musashi traveled light, often with just his swords and a few belongings, unburdened by excess. That freedom let him focus on what mattered, his path forward. And here's a bold one, do not fear death. Now, he's not saying to be reckless. Musashi wasn't the type to charge blindly into danger. This is about perspective. Death is inevitable, so why let it paralyze you? He lived every day fully, sword at the ready, embracing risks and savoring moments. It's a wake-up call to stop procrastinating and start living. Finally, he urges, be detached from desire your whole life long. In a world obsessed with more followers, more money, more stuff, this feels radical. Musashi isn't preaching apathy, he's teaching contentment. Strive for growth, yes, but don't let endless wanting rob you of peace. These precepts aren't just samurai rules, they're a manual for navigating life's chaos with grace. So, how do we weave Musashi's lessons into our tech-saturated, always-on lives? It starts with intention. First, carve out sacred, alone time. It doesn't have to be dramatic. No need to flee to a mountaintop, though Musashi might approve. Try a daily ritual, 20 minutes of silence, a solo walk through the woods, or just sitting with your thoughts, no phone in sight. Let your mind wander, reflect, wrestle with questions. It's in those quiet gaps that clarity creeps in. Second, embrace the digital detox. Our devices tether us to everyone else's agenda. Emails pinging, feeds scrolling, drama unfolding. Set boundaries. An hour unplugged each day, or a full weekend offline. Musashi didn't have to dodge TikTok, but he'd get it. Reclaiming your attention is power. Use that space to journal, dream, or just be. Third, cultivate mental solitude. This is trickier. It's not about where you are, but how you think. Stop chasing approval. Quit measuring yourself against Instagram highlight reels. Musashi didn't care what rival samurai thought of his unorthodox style. He trusted his own compass. So can you. Stand firm in your values even when the crowd sways another way. Fourth, make solitude non-negotiable. Treat it like a workout or a meal, essential, not optional. Musashi didn't stumble into mastery, he chose it. Day after day, schedule it if you must, but guard that time fiercely. It's your forge for growth, your shield against burnout. Our world is light years from Musashi's. Samurai don't roam anymore, and feudal wars are history. But the noise? The pressure? That's universal. Solitude, as Musashi saw it, isn't retreat, it's resistance. It's claiming your mind back from the chaos and building something stronger within. Now, let's be real. Embracing solitude isn't a cakewalk. It bucks against our instincts. We're social creatures, wired to connect. Choosing to step away can feel strange, even wrong. Maybe you've felt it, that twinge of unease when the room goes quiet, the itch to check your phone, the worry that alone means lonely. In our wired-up age, solitude can seem like swimming upstream. Everyone's online, linked in, buzzing. Why unplug when the world's at your fingertips? Here's the key. Solitude isn't loneliness. Loneliness stings. It's that hollow ache of unwanted isolation, a sense of being cut off. Solitude, that's different. It's a choice, a gift, a chance to recharge, to engage with yourself on your terms. Think of it like this. Loneliness is a void. Solitude is a canvas. Still, it's not all smooth. You don't need to vanish into a cave like Musashi did. Balance is the goal. Weave pockets of aloneness into your life. A morning coffee with no chatter, a night without screens. Start small if it feels daunting. 5 minutes can shift your headspace. And expect discomfort, that restlessness, that itch to distraction. It's growth knocking. Musashi felt it too. Alone with his thoughts, facing doubts, pushing past them. He knew the reward outweighed the struggle, a mind honed, a life enriched. Miyamoto Musashi's story is a testament to solitude's quiet power. His path wasn't easy. Duels, wanderings, years of disciplined isolation, but it forged a legacy that still inspires. Walking alone isn't about escaping life, it's about mastering it. The journey might test you, but as Musashi proved, it's worth every step. Maybe you'll find, as he did, that solitude doesn't just change your life. It reveals who you were always meant to become. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Musashi's world. If his wisdom struck a chord, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more explorations into life's big questions. Until next time, dare to walk your own path, alone and unafraid.